Auronya, that's the logo on the third from the left. That means a golden forest. Auronya, I'm going to go very quick, but I'd also like to show a couple of videos into some very cutting edge technology, education related technology, and where education is heading per se. We're also going to share with you some of the cutting edge education technologies that we're developing with Google, Apple, and some other players. There are some videos in this presentation also, and it's very important. The reason being, it's very important for the kind of crowd here to understand where education has reached, so that we get a kind of a view of where we are and where we need to be. Okay, I will go through all this. You can go to the website and look at the founders and everything. Okay, look at the journey of education, and this is the global journey of education, and then I'll go into Indian journey of education. Our journey of humanity started with the hunter-gatherer era. We were all hunters. We used to hunt in order to survive and eat. Strength and speed was the important skill of that particular era. If you're not strong, you're not fast, you could not simply kill and eat, so you'd starve to death. So how efficient you were was most important in that era. That era spawned millions of years. And look at the education streams that came into existence. It was the apprenticeship-based streams of study, what you call as the Gurukul, Guru Shishya. You learned somebody throwing a spear, you learned from that person watching him, and that's how education's journey started. Then from the power of hunting, we actually learned the power of harvesting. Mother Earth gives us abundant food. That era spawned millenniums. Know-how and stamina was very important. Which seed to sow, when would the rains come, what plants to eat. And labor augmentation became very important. By labor augmentation means the more hands, the merrier. Because the land was abundant, and if you look at that era prosperity, the bigger families which cultivated more land were more prosperous. Agricultural, rural, geotechnical sciences based streams of study came into existence in humanities education. Then came the industrial era. Spawned centuries, efficiency and optimization was the key. And if you're not efficient and optimized, you'd simply be replaced. Arts, engineering, commerce-based trades, these came into existence in education. And you can see, education always has built upon each of these eras. So we never let go of anything. Came the information era, and I'll go into industrial information era in the next slide a little bit more. Acquired knowledge and skills became very important because new things were coming, and if you don't know something, acquire it, train it, teach it. That's where the skills come in. But more important than skill, knowledge, wisdom is education itself, because everything is a byproduct of education. Cognitive reduction started happening because we started thinking less creatively, because now a lot of things are done for us. Computer sciences, information, technology, business-based streams of study came into existence. This is where we are, and I'm talking very fast because of the time limit. This is where the education system, the global education system is standing right now, whether it's US, whether it's Switzerland, France, or India. What's coming next is the new age era. It's to be defined. Some of the speakers said here creativity, agility, adaptability, but what do they mean by creativity, agility, and adaptability? Auronya is an undertaking by private sector, by 4 or 5 billionaires and a lot of academic thought leaders, some Padam Bhushans and Padam Shris of India, to answer, let's not look at education of what it was and what it is. Education should be about teaching the future in the present. That's how you educate the generations of the present for the future. So what do you think will be the skills, knowledge, abilities in 2030, 2040, or 2050? Because the generation Z or X we are talking about today, in 17 years from now, in 2034, they're going to be a middle management. And in another 20 years from now, they're going to be a senior management. What do you think a vice president of manufacturing will require in 2042? Will he require a 3D printing? Will he require a supply chains in e-commerce? What do you think that will be required? So we tried to answer this question over 2 years with the World Economic Forum, some of the global experts, and we came up with a solution. I will skip through the videos. During the Industrial Revolution, the industrial era of about 400 years, the first industrial revolution actually started with steam. When we discovered steam, it changed human mobility. It was used for transportation. Basically, steam engines, railways came in. And because of that, colonial powers actually rose. This happened in 1784. About 100 years later, mankind discovered electricity, and that's where actually electricity not only transformed industry, but it also transformed our personal lives. It started mass production, it started bringing in kind of inventions which we would require, and it has become a necessity, like refrigerators or TVs or even our mobile phones. The third industrial revolution started in 1969, and it actually started with finding a quicker way than United States Postal Service to send communication from point A to point B. So in the US, they came up with an email. Email actually was electronic messaging system. In order to do electronic messaging system, you invented the internet, which is the medium on which it carries. That was the purpose of internet, to actually do electronic messaging. Soon it spawned the third industrial revolution from 1969. Now, what has happened, there is a significant shift that has happened now in this industrial revolution. Originally, technologies were being invented to support businesses. You wanted to make business automated or efficient, so the first 30 years, 70s, 80s, 90s, new technologies came up to support businesses. Somewhere, humanity became very good in inventing new technologies, and now it's the opposite. Technology has gone on an exponential pace, and businesses are trying to catch up. So now you have this word called startups, where a new technology come up and 10 new businesses are started based on that technology. Uber comes up, so Ola starts in India. You don't know what starts in China. And before it was the opposite, actually. A technology came up to support 10 businesses. This is a very big shift that has happened. So we are now entering the fourth industrial revolution, which is today, and we do not know what's going to happen in the next 20, 30, 40 years with where we are heading. So, Auronya, we have conceptualized 6 schools. This is the first school, which is the School of Design and Sciences. The curriculums we are thinking, now all these streams of knowledge are for 2020, 2030, 2040 and beyond. What we think will be more important in the future. For example, geosciences. But when we talk of geosciences, what in geosciences will be important for humanity? For example, afforestation to counter deforestation, ocean fertilization to protect our oceans, space reflector technologies to protect our ozone layers. This is where humanity is heading. Energy sciences, renewable energy sciences, and also nuclear energy sciences, for example. India is the third biggest investor in nuclear energy. Where is the nuclear engineering being taught in India? That's the question we should be asking. Environmental sciences. By environmental sciences, what will be important in the future and in the next 20 years? Earth's resources, food to feed 9 billion people, water will be the gold of the future, clean water technologies, air and climate, to get rid of pollution will be important. Mathematics, obviously, one of the most universal streams of knowledge. With Aryabhatta gave us the biggest invention of India 400, 500 years ago, without which none of this revolution would be possible. Without the binary digits, computers can't work. Material sciences. We are actually depleting materials of our Mother Earth at a rapid scale. The chrome we use in our cars will be depleted by 2025. Zinc, 2029. Copper, 2042, iron, 2045. In all our lifetimes, all these materials will be extinct. So where do you think what we'll be using as a backup to these particular materials? That's the questions. That's where the future of industry is heading. Computer sciences or quantum computing. Now also, we must understand education model of the future needs to be combinatorial. By combinatorial, we mean if you're teaching, let's say you want a bachelor's or a master's in quantum computing, but you cannot learn quantum computing till you don't learn computer sciences. And you cannot learn computer sciences till you don't learn mathematics. That's the basic. Similarly, if you want to have a bachelor's in robotics, let's say, these kinds of streams are not available in India per se right now. But if you look at it, mathematics leads to computer sciences leads to quantum computing leads to artificial intelligence, which actually makes the robot works. So in order to teach a particular subject to a student, we actually need to teach the combinatorial aspects of that particular education stream, which is missing. Department of Technology at Auronya, we are conceptualizing to look at robotics, automation, 3D printing. These technologies are coming up in the next 3 to 4 years in mainstream and will become mass available. Nanotechnology, astronautics, which is launching India's first astronaut school, Transportation, clean energy and systems. Department of Design will look at built environment design and agritecture. The future of our living spaces is fusion of agriculture with architecture, which is agritecture. Interior and visual design, augmented and virtual realities. So you can go to the website. Each one of these schools are available at the website. I'll be very, very quick. For example, social sciences, what's the future of politics? It's cyber politics. What's the future of social networks? It's digital social networks. Today our lives are being controlled by Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitters. Our attention deficit, our attention spans are not more than 5 seconds. If I send you a WhatsApp of 10 lines, if WhatsApp message of 10 lines on to you on Auronya, if you don't like the first 2 lines, you won't even read the third. I mean, you look at Facebook. Why does each one of us always paste good things about ourselves on Facebook? Why not a single bad thing? These are things which we must be thinking, because that's the Generation Z. Abbreviated, overstimulated, that's their network. So at Auronya, we are looking at what will be in the future rather than what it is. Education, technology. Instead of domestic law, we will have international law, so that we train actually India's next trade consultants for WTO or World Trade Center or ICC. So you can go through the website. It's you will look at everything is very, very different than a traditional model of education. I would quickly take you through a couple of videos. Criticalities, yeah. How do I get out of this?
I think you can give them the website or the link.
Okay. Here is an example of a short video of a minute, just to give you an insight. If you go to a biology class or a medical or an MBBS class anywhere across the world, how you think a student will be taught? Through a projector, through a notice board, books, or whatever. This is an example of a technology from Apple, which we have exclusively bringing it to India. Currently, this requires its own infrastructure, so we have to create it. You will see a camera, we have put it on the glass of a student. So for you to see what the student sees and how he is learning MBBS to become a doctor. No, sir. It's a live representation. That's the curriculum. You can see what you read in a book. Want to learn about a spinal cord? For example, this is just actual video from the experience of students.
The West is composed of 8 alpha bones arranged in 3 distinct layers: the proximal lobe and the distal lobe. These small bones provide flexibility to the wrist. There are 4 bones in each lobe.
Just to give you a flavor of what the future is coming in terms of education technologies, or where we are and what's already available in the market. Lastly, I'd show just one video it's a 2-minute video with just some sound.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
I don't think I have time, so I've just cut down the presentation. Thank you. Thank you.